What is happening, Elite FPA Belfast community? Hope you are keeping well. I hope that lockdown isn't treating you too badly at this moment in time, and I hope you're all keeping safe. So yes, my guest today is actually just waiting to enter into the chat here. Peadar Hughes, I'm going to let him in just a wee second, but before I do, I kind of just wanted to talk a wee bit about him, give Peadar a wee bit of credit for what he's done since leaving Elite. But not only that, him and a host of other people as well. And I was kind of thinking about this here today. You know, very rarely do you hear stories of success in the fitness industry, right? Especially from people who maybe haven't done well, especially from people who have dropped out. I was thinking about this here earlier on. Someone drops out of the industry, and the first thing that they do, well, the first thing they're not going to do is they're not going to say, well, the reason I failed was because I didn't invest heavily enough in myself. I wasn't emotionally, financially, and physically invested in making the business a success. They're not going to say that. They're going to blame. All right. And that's what people essentially do. Peadar's texting me here waiting to get in. They're going to blame. And, I just find that it's like, it's easy to do that because then your ego stays attached. It's easy to blame. And that's why I love to share stories like the one Peadar's going to share here. I'm going to let him in here because he's freaking out. Like the one Peadar's going to share here because he has been, he's had a super successful career since leaving Elite, and now he's here to join us. What about you, brother? Are you good?
How's things, man? I was just watching the live on my phone, so that was a bit of a
yeah, I was just going on to rant a wee bit before you come on. I was just giving you credit for how well you've done since leaving us, dude. Yes, super proud of you. Before we actually get into it here, pre-apologies. If I have to jump up and run about or anything like that, it's because Lenny is trying to burn off some energy this morning. He ate a bucket full, and then he slept for ages, so no doubt he'll run about, bark and basically fuck shit up. Look, he's already fucking shit up.
I can hear him.
He's already going crazy.
He's absolutely huge now.
Anyway, that's enough about the two Lennys. Peadar, how you doing, brother?
I am great, man. Great. Thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on.
Nah, no problem, dude. No problem. It's a pleasure having you on. We actually done a podcast the other day, which is very enjoyable as well.
Yeah.
Peadar, so do us a favor, mate. Tell myself, tell the viewer a wee bit about your background. Where you from? What age are you? And a wee bit about your sporting background as well, dude.
All right. I hate being asked this question, but I'm from Newry. Well, about Newry anyway. I know he's going to be watching this. I'm assuming it's Belfast. So about that area anyway. I'm 20. And I left Elite I actually have it in front of me about a year ago, just under a year ago now.
Yeah.
In terms of sporting background, I don't have a lot, to be honest with you. I was never the most athletic. I played football and stuff, but I was shit. Right. I was quite shit. And then I actually broke my back. Don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that, no.
I fell through a roof and fucked myself, basically. Broke my arm, broke my back. So I'm
What age were you then?
15.
What were you doing on the roof?
It was like a barn.
Right.
I fell through it, and then that was the start. The reason I'm saying that was like the end of football career and the start of, right, okay, I'll get into the gym. Obviously I put on a bit of weight and stuff that time, so I was like, right, get into fitness, and then it's led me to here.
Right, okay, cool. So how long were you out of action then for, or how long were you in the hospital for?
Oh, a couple of days. I think it was like 3 or 4 days, but that was when things were actually starting to go well in terms of football. That was when I got on the county panel for my age and stuff. So I was probably starting to get good. And then I just got a sign that I wasn't meant to play it anymore, if you want to put it like that.
We're destined for greater things anyway.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
Blessing in disguise.
Yeah, cow shit all over me.
Right, okay, cool. So you then what was your early education? Did you go to uni or anything like that?
In terms of school, I was actually always pretty good in school. Like people, I'm just gonna say, I think people assume that I'm not very smart because I didn't go to university or anything. Like I actually did all right in school. I was a classic underachiever. I think I could have done a lot better had I applied myself. Because now that I've got into this, like I've no problem learning about fitness, learning about coaching, how to help people. It was always just the case where I wasn't, you know, loving what I was doing. Before I came to Elite though, I was actually doing a foundation degree in sports something coach. I can't even tell you the name, but I didn't care that much. Like I've done it for like a year and I don't even know what it's called. But yeah, that was the extent of my school knowledge.
Was that in like I think that was in like tech or something like that, was it?
Yeah, Southern Regional College of Mary. And the plan was to do 2 years of that and then do the year. Huh?
Did you get much from it?
Anatomy was probably the only thing I really enjoyed in it, because that was like what I was doing. A lot I was thinking was I'm not going to do anything from this, but that I could apply to, like that I was doing anatomy in the Elite at the same time, so it was actually just helping me pass my test in Elite.
Yes, that's great. I remember that actually. I remember it. And then at the same time, you were working. Was it in B&Q?
Yeah, B&Q.
Okay, well, tell us a wee bit about that, dude. How did that happen? Like, was that your first job, or did you go through?
Oh no, I've worked in absolutely every job you can imagine. Like, I don't think I've ever enjoyed a job in my life. I was working at B&Q when I first got on to you, and it was nearly the reason I didn't, because they weren't for letting me have a flexible time off to like go up to Belfast and study and stuff. So B&Q was never the right place for me. Like it paid all right, and it was like decent hours and stuff and easy enough work. Like, so it was just what I did at the time. But no, I've had part-time jobs in bars, in Domino's. I've worked on a building site for a wee bit as well. Like I've done absolutely everything.
Yeah, just and just nothing clicked.
No, never. This is the first thing I've actually half enjoyed.
When did you know, or when did you sort of have a rough idea that fitness may be what you want to move into? Well, I tell you what, let's go before that. Was it the injury, the back break that made you think, right, I need to do something about my fitness, or what, or what was that journey?
Yeah, well, I think it's the same. I think it's the same for everyone who goes through some sort of injury. You know, like everyone's always relatively sporty. Like you had your boxing, I had my football, so I was never massively overweight or anything. And then coming out of that led to start piling the pounds on, to say the least. And then yeah, like you said, like the only thing I could think to do was like, oh, I need to lose a wee bit of weight. Oh, what do I do? Oh, start the gym. That's what everyone does when they need to lose weight. So that was like, yeah, for me it was an initial just getting the confidence back, getting that weight off, and then didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did, really.
And that's when you started thinking, did you hire a coach? Like, did you hire a trainer?
Not initially, no. I was actually talking about this yesterday to somebody. I think it took me 2.5, 3 years to train on my own before I went for my first coach. And I'll always say with confidence, I seen more results in those 12 weeks with him than I did in the first 3 years on my own. Like, and that's why I always push coaching now. I feel like people just think I'm saying that because like, oh yeah, you need to work with me, but it's not just me. Go work with anyone. I'm saying that as genuine advice, that like it took that long for me because I didn't know what I was doing, because I didn't have any of that, you know.
Absolutely. Well, we discussed this yesterday. You know, we said that no matter who they are, like no one will ever reach their maximum potential without some form of coaching.
No, definitely not.
Like no one. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're the greatest athlete in the world. Like
even they all have coaches, don't they? I remember someone made that point to me, like all the best boxers and stuff have coaches. I was like, yeah, fuck, they do, I suppose.
I don't know why people wait. It's beyond. It's actually, it should be the flip side of that. Is like, why do you wait as long as you do to hire a coach? Who was it that you hired first time?
The first coach I ever worked with was Josh Williamson. You might know him. He's from about.
Shout out to Josh.
Yeah, he's a nutritionist actually, so that's more his field. But yeah, right. He was able to, very smart lad, so very educational, and obviously got the result I wanted from it too.
Nice. And did you start then thinking, holy shit, you know, was it during that process, during that sort of initial transformation where you thought, I would like to do this for other people?
Yeah, so I don't think I've ever done, like, I think I was sort of the classic case, didn't know what I wanted to do, but I always knew, it sounds so typical cliche, I always knew I wanted to work for myself in some way. I thought I was going to end up owning a pub or owning a shop or something. That's just what I thought working for yourself looked like. And yeah, it was when I done it with him. Like, I just remember, again, like the most cliche, cringy PT thing ever to say, but it made me feel so good. And I was like, fuck, like, you know, he's making a living out of this. I could actually do the same, and I'm so passionate about it. It's something that I actually feel strongly about. I'm not just doing it for the money. It's not like, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was the first taste of getting a service from him that I feel I could do the same, if not better. And I was like, yeah, I could do this for other people, definitely.
Class, dude. So then you made the decision. Then I think I remember you actually saying to me that you got offered a course for free. Am I right on that?
I'm not gonna say free, but like it was significantly less than the course I went for.
Yeah.
The course I was doing with the tech, you see, they do like add-ons, so you can do like your sports massage, you can do your level 2 personal training, and it was. I'm not gonna say the price, but very, very, very cheap. So yeah.
That's right. And we chatted about the course, and then you were saying yesterday that your initial thought was, "Look, I'm not doing it. No way."
Yeah, well, as long as people probably me saying that, like that, yeah, like initially, obviously, I didn't know what you did. I hadn't heard as much before. Just sort of like, yeah, nah, yeah. Like, when I initially heard the price, like I've no problem telling you, I was just like, oh, fuck, like completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And what then made you change your mind? Because you weren't referred to us by anyone or anything like that, so you weren't.
Ronan McAvoy told me about you.
Ronan McAvoy did. That's right. Yes, shout out to Ronan. Shout out to Ronan. Yes, that's right. So, what was it? Ronan that made you change your mind, or my persistence?
Well, see, he really praised Solid for us. I have to say, like he was so happy with it. But right, I'll tell you what happened. I was actually thinking about this yesterday because I was thinking in my head, what's Lenny gonna ask me, and how can I answer it? Because I'm the worst person at this sort of stuff. I'm such a dry cunt to just give some blunt answers. So I'll try to tell a bit of a story. I was throwing about the idea of maybe starting my own online coaching business. I started posting fitness related stuff. And Roland actually texted me, and I didn't know who he was. I knew of him, but he texted me and was like, I'm loving the fitness related stuff, man. I was just wondering, are you qualified yet? And even if he's watching this, I have no problem saying my first thought was, I was like, this cunt's trying to call me out, saying I'm not qualified. But he was just like, oh, if you're not, you should check out Elite. That's where I did my qualification. I was like, all right, yeah, dead on, cheers. So I went, I think I must have liked the page or something. And within an hour, I got a friend request from you, and I was like, who's this? I could just see you were sussing me out a few different ways. It was like, I think it was like a follow on something that, like, it was just you were coming up, and then whatever happened, one thing led to another. I got on the phone with you, and then from then that was the start of it. And then I think the selling point was the persistence from you, and then because I had liked the page and stuff, I started seeing like the community you had and everyone that came out of you. I've never seen anyone complain about it, So that was probably the biggest thing.
That's a big lesson for I suppose anyone watching who's maybe trying to make things happen for themselves. Is like, there's a few things that I done there. Number one, I showed people the type of culture that we have at Elite. I moved fast to get your attention because I added you as a friend straight away, and then I was persistent as well.
And that's like, because of that, that's why I have no problem following up with people now. Like, if people have texted me about coaching and they don't reply, I'll keep texting them, even if I feel like I'm annoying them, because I know if they eventually come to me, I can change their life the same way you did for me,
Yes, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Amazing point. And so you were then on the Thursday Sunday crew. So you had Shay Quinn was on your crew.
Yeah.
Joanne Haslett. Who else was on there? Amy. Yeah, there's a good crew on there. And then COVID hit.
Yeah, that happened in the middle. I actually forgot about that was in the
I know dude, it was like 6 or 7 weeks into your course, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we basically had to shift things online, which admittedly I was disappointed at the time, because we were just starting to like pick up momentum from the practical side of things. And then when we eventually did get reopened again, I had to do like 3 times the teaching, because I had to break everyone up into groups of 6.
I remember that.
But yeah, I mean, it was a memorable one. And then, so did you go straight into online, or did you go into a gym, or what happened there once you left Elite?
Well, see, the plan for me was always, I'll tell you from the start, from beforehand, the plan for me was always online. I was very ignorant to the benefits of personal training and stuff. And then it was only speaking to you I was like, you know something, maybe there is a market for this, because I'm not passionate about online coaching. I'm not passionate about personal training. I'm passionate about helping people, whether that's in person, whether that's online, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And it took me to try out on the floor to realize that's all it was.
Right.
The only reason I didn't end up pursuing that is because I feel like it was a bit of a, I don't know what the word is. Like, my online was my main thing, and I felt like I sort of felt like I was running two businesses, if you know what I mean.
Gotcha.
So I went for the one that was going, and with COVID and stuff, with the lockdown, it was sort of the time to go with that. You know what I mean?
Nice one, dude. And you basically, you done something that I absolutely love, right? Well, first of all, when you were on the course, I kind of knew that this was going to happen, because whenever you were on the course, you were always saying to me, you know, as much as all this information on the gym floor is important, how do I start building an email list?
Yeah.
What way do I go about building a funnel? Do you have like a follow-up series? You know, you were asking me all these questions, and already I was like, this dude is going to fucking smash it. Right? I knew that already. And you also went to our mastermind event in Newcastle as well. And that was whenever you were still on the course. Mm-hmm. So already then you were kind of thinking about, right, you know, I know that I want to help people, and I also know that I have to be able to run a business. So what's the best way that I can optimize for both? Which is a massive credit to yourself, and I suppose, you know, a testament to why you're fucking absolutely smashing it right now, dude. Yeah. And then as well, you also hired a mentor, you had a coach, probably one of my first ever sort of digital mentors, Paul Mort.
Yeah.
So tell us a wee bit about that, dude. How'd that come about?
Well, it's funny you said the email list. That was actually the first thing I worked with him through, was that email domination academy, I think it's called.
Right.
And then I just sort of got a feel from there. I was like, okay, I want to go on to something else with this. And then I went on to like a 90-day program with him. And from using you as a mentor, you know, I've always bounced ideas off you, and then going with him as well. It was just something that I was like, okay, when I'm using this, when I'm getting advice off someone else, when I'm getting help off someone else, things tend to go a lot better. Do you know what I mean? And yes, it's a lot of money on the outset for anyone really, but it was that flipping the mindset about investment versus cost for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was.
Yeah, dude. And that's kind of why I sort of brought up the, you know, you were getting the course for next to nothing, right? And mm-hmm. I was sort of thinking about this here today, because there was a guy, Darren Muntz. So Darren was on our part-time course, one of the last part-time courses there, and he kind of done a video yesterday, and he was talking about he made the decision to actually give up his home to do our course, right? So he's like, he was living in an apartment. He says, right, something's going to have to go. So he let go of the apartment and done our course, and he was fully invested in, you know, making it a success. And today, same as yourself, you know, he's got a thriving online business, and he's just fucking loving life. Yeah. And I was kind of thinking about this here. It's like, there's two amazing stories of people who are fully invested in themselves, mm-hmm. right? Now, here's the thing. On the flip side of that there, and I'm going to ask you sort of your advice for, let's say, newbies coming through. Well, on the flip side of that, if someone, let's say, doesn't make it a success, right? If someone completely bombs, and you were talking about the drop-off rate in the industry yesterday, yeah, right? You'll never hear that person say, oh, it was because I didn't fully invest in myself. I didn't make a financial commitment. I didn't make the physical commitment. I didn't make an emotional commitment. And that's why I didn't make it. No one's ever going to say that, because it would require that they suspend their ego completely, and just take responsibility for not making it happen. Yeah. On the flip side of that, what I'm showing people right now is an example of someone who went, nah, even though I'm getting this here for free, I'm going to invest fully in this here, and I'm going to make the most of it, because now you've got skin in the game, as Paul Mort would like to say.
I was literally just about to make that exact point. I'll say this to anyone who's watching, like, you know, thinking about your course, anyone who's ever inquired with it, I could not afford it. Like, it was not something that was remotely in my budget. That's not to say it was expensive. I was terrible with money. Yeah. But that made me, like you said, like, I was so hungry to make back my investment, to get some sort of, because it was like a burn the bridges mentality, you know, like I've done it, I've committed to it. There's no getting out of it. Like, it's not a case of, you know, whether or not I want to. And I was actually, I feel like I'm just whipping out all these cliches, but I was actually reading the 4-Hour Work Week at the time, and it was something that's helped me with that. because it was talking something about, it was, I don't even think it was in that book actually. Someone was saying when you raise the level of your earnings, you need to raise the level of your investments. And I was like, okay, so if I want to earn a wee bit more, I want to give a wee bit more, I'm going to have to put a wee bit more in. And even though I couldn't afford it at the time, I've done that, and now that's led to being able to invest a bit more in different things, and it's just that combinated effect.
From there.
Yeah, and the fact that I could have done that at the time for a lot cheaper, everyone around me was like, "Oh, sure, it's just a qualification. Obviously, just get the cheaper one." And I was like, "Yeah, but like, I don't know. This lad just seems to know what he's talking about. I think I could really go well with this." And I couldn't have made a better decision in the end. I'll tell you the exact moment. I think I said this to you before. When I knew I made the right decision on it, is when I got this from Hughes.
Ah, yes. Yes.
That's when I made the right decision on it, and I knew that. So was happy pretty quickly.
We weren't even sending out books at that stage either, sure we weren't?
No, I never got a book.
I owe you a book, dude. I owe you a book. I'm going to send you one. We're now sending out books as well. But yeah, I mean, it's something as simple as that there, something as simple as that wee gesture, I feel like makes all the difference because, I'm reading a book at the minute. It's called The Relationship Economy. And they're talking about, even especially how things are right now with, AI, artificial intelligence, bots alone have taken over 70% of, DM responses.
Yeah,
which is crazy. And there was actually a great wee quote, again, we're coming off of them today, in that there it says, the more you put technology between the company and the customer, the more you lose the connection.
Yeah.
Which is again, I'm not hitting out at online courses. I definitely think, and if you don't have some sort of artificial intelligence in your business today, you're not doing the right shit, right? But at the same time, I feel like there has to be a balance there of, yes, having self-sustaining systems in place, but at the same time, still doing all the wee intimate things that essentially don't scale.
Yeah.
There's value to be had in those intimacies, and there's connection. And it was that one thing there, a simple card sent to the house, that changed the game for you.
Yeah, and that justified the amount I paid for it. You know what I mean? I was just about to say that. And you're not someone who's you still have a business, you still, like you say, you've all these systems and stuff, but you're still doing all that non-scalable stuff, all those personal touches. I think I took that massively from you. That was probably one of the biggest take homes in terms of not fitness, was just that personal. I think you call it over delivering.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course you have to. So let's say I'm fast forward a wee bit. What's going on today? You've got what, the online stuff going, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago. You were kind of doing transformations, like a 12-week transformation, or tell us a wee bit about that. What was going on? What are you offering currently?
So the way I work at the minute is, I think it's the same for most people when they're just starting out, is they're just trying to, build that client base and to have people on for a space of, say, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. Most people that come to me is for losing fat, because that's what I went through. I'm not trying to give people advice on doing bodybuilding shows and stuff, because I never done that. That's what I'm experienced in,
Yeah.
So yeah, people are coming to me for all these fat loss transformations and stuff. And like I said, I was talking to you about that, and I'm just in the process now of building something similar to what you have, this community nearly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the key. Did you struggle at all whenever you left us to get clients on, or did you walk straight into clients?
I struggled before I came to you about it. I think that was probably the biggest thing for me. The biggest thing for me was trying to do it by myself, because obviously at the end of the course, you give us a lot of advice, in terms of how to get clients and stuff. But during it, I was trying to build that up, not even to get them while I wasn't qualified, but maybe even, I'll be qualified then, I can help you then.
Yeah, is that the way it
goes? Yeah, I think the biggest thing for anyone listening who either isn't qualified or is getting qualified is start that process now. Start that process of asking and building relationships. And I think it was you that told me that most people aren't going to inquire with you. Is it like the 8th point of contact and the 9th point of contact?
Yeah, that's correct.
And I think that advice alone, I was just like, I need to start now then, because start building that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually, now that you say that, I remember on the course, I think we had a conversation like this on the course, and you were saying something about getting qualified. And I think I said to you, well, why don't you just go and start creating content now? And you were like, but I'm not qualified yet. And I was like, doesn't mean you can't help people. Okay. Doesn't mean you can't help them. So, and what you actually done, and what a lot of people I think fail to realize today, and what you do so well, is that you essentially build your goodwill bank account. You build reciprocity because you give people a lot of value, a lot of valuable content. And then because of that, people are no doubt being then attracted into your world, and that's why you're doing so well.
I think that's another big thing. I'm not in it for, because people have asked me and stuff, how do I go about becoming a personal trainer? And the biggest thing I probably asked them was like, oh, why do you want to do it? And I remember I wasn't even unqualified. Someone asked me, it's like, oh, it seems to be good money, and I was like, probably wouldn't do it, to be honest with you, because I'm not posting content every day. You don't get paid for that. You don't. Every time you post something, somebody doesn't buy from me. It's not about just making sales all the time. It's about actually helping people, and that's why I'm not just posting shite. I'm thinking, what are people struggling with? How can I help them with that? And that's all it is. And this morning, for example, Labs texted me asking for advice about something, and I wasn't like, oh, I'll give you it, just give me X amount of money. I was just like, yeah, do this. Do you know what I mean? Because ultimately, then, if he wants the real thing, he wants a wee bit more accountability, a bit more education, he knows exactly where to get it.
Exactly, mate, 100%. And going back to it, that's reciprocity. You're just giving, and you're asking for nothing in return. And the intention is to help people first and foremost. And then what happens whenever you do that is like, well, here's the thing. The information, there is no new information really. There's nothing new. Okay, so people like, don't try to reinvent the wheel, because it's like everything that has been invented is already invented. It's already been said. Everyone knows what they have to do. You're not telling this person anything that's not available. You're telling him what he needs to hear. But the thing about that is that when he then makes the decision to go, do you know what, I just need a coach, who's the first person he's going to go to?
Yeah.
It's an absolute no-brainer. Like.
Yeah, because people, like, even with yourselves up at Elite, it's never a case where I was paying you for more information. I'm sure all the information that you give us, I could probably find online for free. Yeah. We were paying for the implementation of that. We were paying for the tests, the accountability, the extra help that you give us. Like, it was never just that we needed to know more. And I think that's the same with anyone, isn't it?
In any area, dude, it's class. So what is the plans then for the future? What do you see happening? Tell me this here. Are you going to go back into the gym when the gyms reopen, or are you just going to go all in online? And then I'll tell you what I think you should do.
Okay. For now, to be honest with you, I'm just happy with the online, because I'm not viewing it as I once did. I'll be completely honest with you, and I think anyone who's thinking about an online business will say this. They're like, yeah, like passive income, working from your laptop and stuff. It's not that, and I don't see it as that anymore. It's something that I get up every day and I work at. I'm still working all the time. It's not just this thing where I just give someone a program, right, fuck off, see you in 10 weeks, and then you can pay me then. Like, so I want to keep building that to a stage where I'm still helping people and I'm still living the life I live currently, because I'm happy with how things are right now. In terms of going back to a gym, I am not sure, to be honest with you. I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought that far ahead, which is probably a bad thing. But
nah, I don't think so, dude. I don't think you should, to be honest.
No?
Nah, I don't think you should. I think right now, I think what you're doing a really good job. And I think going back into the gym would only be a distraction for you.
I never thought I would hear that coming out of your mouth. I remember the first time we spoke and I said I wanted to go all online. You weren't judgmental about it. It was just, I think you thought maybe try this instead.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd do that. That's a huge compliment for anything.
No, at the time, like, if anyone comes to me initially and they're like, I want to go straight into coaching online, I'm like, no, you need to start off coaching on the gym floor so that you can pick up certain coaching cues and whatever else, get that experience first. And then if that, if you're doing a good job there and you like working with people, and that'll transfer into online, but not vice versa.
Yeah.
If someone goes straight in online and then they go and try and coach on the gym floor, it's a completely different ball game altogether. And I just think now at this stage, what you're doing online, going back to the gym floor would be a complete distraction for you. And I think you can definitely have a bigger impact with what you're doing currently.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you're Tell me this here. What was your? Because I have a good memory of you being an elite. Well, a couple actually. But what was your fondest memory?
PJ making me strip into my boxers in front of everyone. I absolutely shit myself.
God, see now that I think about it, dude, you actually got a really tough time of it because
Yeah.
PJ made you strip down to your boxers. I made you eat dog food. I also remember you walking through where is it you're from? Where you live in Kirk?
That's where.
Okay, I remember you walking through Bestbrook with like a towel.
Yeah, in the snow, like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, your boxers and a towel. And now that I think back, I'm like, holy shit, that boy got a tough time of it.
Yeah, a few different occasions. No, that one with PJ was definitely the best one. I just remember being like, oh my god.
Yeah, because I remember him saying, he was like, he told me the next day, he was like, I just grabbed him out, yeah, and his face was like, me, and he's like, aye, come on, you're getting up here. It was body fat testing.
You know why you picked me?
Why?
Because I sent you one of these and didn't send him one.
Oh, the ring light. That's right. Yes,
That's why you picked me.
That. Yeah, I knew you were using one of them. By the way, I was like, this boy's lips are too red, his eyes are too blue. What the fuck is he doing?
The trainer pointed that out initially.
Yeah, here's the key to it, dude. It's a ring light.
It's a secret. Yeah, that's probably the biggest advice I can give to anyone getting into the fitness industry. Is just one of these.
Well, there you go. Let's move on to that then. So, someone, let's say, someone who's maybe experiencing the same journey as you, like you were what, 20, 21 whenever you started?
No, I'm only 20 now. When I first started late, I was, what would I have been, 19? Yeah, 19.
19. So, young lad there, late teens, early 20s, thinking about a career in the fitness industry. What's the best advice you'd give them, aside from doing their course at Elite, of course?
Well, I think that's just prerequisite at this stage.
I just strip you off that one, then that's a prerequisite. But what's the best advice you would give an individual like that?
Probably, well, I know this is again linking back to Elite, but one of the things I would say is don't value courses on what's the cheapest, like what you're going to get the most return from, because you often find the cheapest. I'm not saying they're always the worst, but usually they're the cheapest for the reason. I think that's the same with coaching. I think that's the same with even a product that you buy. Like everyone has an iPhone, they're not cheap. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to spend a wee bit bigger on that. And probably the second thing would be why you're actually doing it. I think that's become huge to me in the last year. I think there's a lot of coaches. I don't think it's saturated, but there are a lot of coaches, and there's a lot of people that's doing it for good reasons, a lot of people who aren't. And I think it's pretty clear who's going to have an impact and who's going to survive the longest. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with losing weight, isn't it?
Yeah, and you think I think your work ethic then stems from, you know, your sort of values around, you know, your reasons for doing it. Because if you're clear on them and you know, and your intentions are right and you want to help people, then your work ethic is essentially driven from that, and it's clear to see. You know what I mean? It's clear to see.
I think someone who's going into the fitness industry that has like the perfect model for like building a fitness business, because don't expect anything to happen overnight. That's the exact same as when you were going to lose weight. Like find a good why for doing it. Exact same as when you were going to lose weight. Get a good coach. Exactly. Like there's so many things that I'm sort of starting to notice I've just carried over from when I was 15, 16 to now. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the same for a lot of people. But another thing would be invest in some sort of coaching. Definitely, like without a doubt. And don't be afraid to ask for help either, because I know you're always there as well.
Again, this is a credit to you. So, you know, number one, and sometimes like people will ask me for advice here, dude, you know, can I pick your brain on this here? And sometimes I'm just like, fuck off, because I know no matter what I tell you to do, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
That actually annoys me more. Like I would happily sit and talk to someone 24/7, even though Katrina would flip at me. I would happily sit and talk to someone 24/7 if I knew they were going to do the work. Yeah. And I know with you, like whenever you message me and say, here, man, what do you think about this here? Like building an email list, you're not asking me just for the sake of asking me. You're asking me because you're actually going to go and implement it.
Yeah, I'm not asking you for validation on it. I'm asking for your genuine opinion on it.
Yeah. For here, genuinely though, no, I'm looking to build an email list of a few thousand people here. What's the best practices to go about doing it? And what's the best way to manage the list? it's because I'll look around like, 2 months later and I'll end up on your email list. And that's the reason, you know what I'm saying? And that's a credit to you, dude. Absolutely.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, mate. So I'm gonna let you go, but before we let you go, where can people connect with you? Because you've got a podcast and stuff going now, don't you?
Yeah. I got a podcast and stuff, and it's just a wee bit of general conversation. I like listening to them. It's not for anyone to do anything. It's just that people like to listen to something while they're out walking and stuff. I'm a big advocate of getting people out moving, so if they can listen to me while they're doing it, all the better.
Right. Okay. Is there a specific audience that should listen to that though? No, just anyone. Nah. I'd say it would probably be geared towards like lads around the same age as you, maybe in there.
Yeah, I would say lad, yeah, because that's sort of who I work with mostly, is lads the same sort of age as me, same struggles I went through, same sort of sense of humor. I know that sounds stupid, but I like someone with a sense of humor.
Nah. So yeah. And what do you call the podcast?
Peadar Hughes podcast.
Peadar Hughes podcast. Look it up. Where can people connect with you on social media?
Just Instagram and Facebook, just at Peadar Hughes. Nothing special about it. Like nobody else has my name, so I didn't need to do any fancy characters or anything.
Unlike me, I need to call myself like 12 different things just to get the message out there.
Yeah, literally.
Last question, dude. If there was something that I should have asked you today but didn't, what would it be?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like I'm like the worst person to interview because I just go off your questions. I don't talk too much. What should you have asked me today, but you didn't? I think probably the biggest thing was why I ended up going to elite, because I think a lot of people watching this are going to be like, we'll probably see past student and stuff. I wonder what they're thinking about it too. And this is a wee bit of a plug for you, but anyone who is watching it, like it's not something that I remotely regretted, even when it was a case where, like I said, I couldn't afford it. Like I did have to struggle to get through it. It was worth it in the end of it. Yeah. You make your money back at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Listen, mate, I just want to say once again how proud I am of you, dude. You're absolutely killing it. I know you're going to keep on killing it. And yeah, congratulate you again, mate. Well done.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it. Come do it without your help.
Nah, not at all. I'm sure you would have figured it out. All right, boss. We'll let you go. Go back to work.
I'll speak to you soon. Have a good one.
See you soon, mate. Bye.